Hi everyone, welcome. Father Lamb here. It's Wednesday again, Wednesday, June 14th. Um, I just wanted to thank you all for all your condolences and mass cards and just your acts of sympathy and prayerful support to me and my family at the loss of our Sister Sarah Lamb, whom we buried Tuesday a week ago. And it's a big loss. And I think all of us at different times in our lives have experienced loss and will continue to experience loss. Also lost our classmate, Father George Winnie, died over a month ago. We're still waiting to get his body back so we can, have a burial for him here as well. You know, Grieving's hard work. Grieving is not easy. And I just want to mention, I remember years ago when I read the Beatitudes, blessed are the poor in spirit, Jesus' greatest Sermon on the Mount. And you got to that one phrase that said, blessed are they who mourn, for they will be comforted. And I remember reading that and thinking, what's so blessed about mourning? Mourning's horrible, and I really just didn't understand it. And then after some time going by, I've learned that there's a difference between grieving and mourning. And it's very significant. Grieving is, look at it this way, grieving is like a container. And it contains all your feelings when you lose someone you love. Certainly all those feelings of love, those feelings of loss, the emptiness inside, even some feelings of joy and happiness of having known the person. It's all in this container. That's our grief. Mourning is bringing an outward expression to that grief. It's kind of taking it out of the container and taking a look at it, expressing it in different ways. And everybody mourns differently. So sometimes you can mourn by, in your prayer life, praying. You can mourn by, some people might go to the graveside and talk to their loved one. Other people may do journaling. Some people listen to certain music, helps you to grieve. You shed some tears and sometimes some smiles about thinking about that person. There's a lot of different ways that we mourn the loss of someone that we love. And these are important things to do. What I'm learning is you can't just keep it in that container. It's too much. We need to express that outwardly. And one thing I've relearned and relearned again, especially with my sister Sarah's passing, is our funeral liturgies, our masses of Christian burial lend themselves to mourning, to really being able to, take that stuff that's inside us and bring it outwardly. The music at Mass was so comforting. I remember my sister was started in her order with 70 people in her band, 7 other women, and now they're down to 30. So many have passed away, and the 30 some of them came into the Camilla Hall there where the Mass was and just lined up as they brought her casket down the aisle. That support there was so comforting, all a way of mourning. And I'm saying that today because I think a lot of us are mourning, and we don't mourn well in our culture. You deal with a significant death at the workplace. You might get maybe 3 days off, if that, and then say, okay, back to work, let's go. And that's not the reality. The humanness of it is we have to be tender in our mourning. I mentioned to you before, our father died. My dad died back in 1995, and he died on Ash Wednesday. And that was an incredible Lent for me that year. I didn't worry about giving anything up, doing anything extra for Lent. I just felt my feelings. And I went through Lent, I felt like someone kicked me in the gut. And I went through Lent very slowly. I just didn't have energy. That's all part of the mourning process. See, because this grief is in our bodies, see, and it kind of weighs you down. And that's why very often when people are grieving and mourning, you feel it right in your body. You don't want to do anything. And sometimes you got to push yourself. You got to get moving physically. I know some physical exercises definitely help me. But we also have to be gentle with ourselves, and we're not necessarily good at that. Are you mourning something right now in your life, a significant loss? Even if it's a loss a long time ago. And what happens is sometimes we might have that significant loss there, and then we suffer another loss on top of that. Or you lose your job, or you lose your marriage, or something else happens, your dog dies. These are all significant losses. And then we get into complicated grief. There's like a whole layer of things that we're trying to deal with. And I'm finding I just have to step back sometimes. I get to the point of the day right now where I just hit this wall, I call it, and I just can't do anything else. I'm tired, and I'm not looking for any sympathy or, pity. I think it's just prayers, and I think what I'm learning is we all need 1 or 2 good friends that can help us walk through it. Nobody can take the pain away. Everybody grieves differently. But we need someone with us on our journey, a friend, a companion on the journey, a witness, whatever you want to call it, someone who sort of walks with us and supports us. And I'm very grateful to the friends of my life right now who are just telling me, you have to slow down a little. You can't be rushing into things, you know. I pass that on to you to take a look at your own life right now. And what's that container of grief like for you? And we just seem to want to run from it, and you can't. It's going to be in there. Wherever you run to, if you like to drink, you're going to drink to feel better. Vanilla ice cream works well for me. Sit down, eat some ice cream, but it's still there after the ice cream goes, you know? And so we do still have to talk about the loved one, and that's what's really good. And talking to my brothers and sisters and recounting Sally's Mass, and all that's part of the grieving and being gentle with ourselves. I find myself not wanting to be around large groups of people right now. It takes way too much energy. But just a couple good friends here and there. What is it that you need to do to work through some of your grief? You know, it's a complicated thing, but Jesus said, blessed are they who mourn, they will be comforted. And so you and I become comforted to the extent that we allow that grief out of that container. See, if you need to go to the graveside, go there. You need to go into the chapel and pray, in church and pray, go there. You know, have masses celebrated for your loved one, and go to the Mass. And see, we end up doing in our brain, we say, oh, I don't want to go do that because it hurts too much. You know, I don't want to go into that again. You're moving through it each time. Grief is not linear. You don't go from here to there and you're done. It's circular, it's cyclical, it goes around. And so you feel better for a while, and all of a sudden something reminds you of that loved one, and maybe some tears are shed. You just feel that sense of sadness. Stop. Be gentle with your heart. You know, share that heart with Jesus. Hold that heart in your hands. You know, this is where Jesus wants to connect with us with his sacred heart, you see. And then you kind of pass, you cry a little, you let go, you go on. And then it'll come back later. And each time, I won't say it gets easy, but it gets easier, you know. So maybe this week we just might be gentle with ourselves. Are you mourning a loss? You honor the person by mourning it. And when I mourned my dad's death during Lent, I felt like I just honored his life, you know, just by the feelings. This is one of the prices, I guess you say, we pay for loving people. Loss hurts. But if we want to run away from that loss, either we don't love anybody or we just spend the rest of our lives running. Stop. Let yourself feel what you're feeling. What's going on inside your life right now? Who is it that you miss in your life? Bring them to prayer. And one thing that's happening for me is, as much as I miss my sister, I'm happy that she's at peace, and I'm so thankful for her life. And that's where we need to go with this, that God has given us the gift of other people in our lives who touch us deeply, and they are a supreme gift. We'll be eternally happy in heaven one day. We're not going to always be happy here, but with the help of some trusted friends and our faith in Jesus Christ, we can do this one day at a time. Blessed are they who mourn, they will be comforted. God bless you.